All of us together, standing together for the camera test was the moment that it really clicked for me. I think by myself, I didn't feel as super, but then it's a team. It's always been a team. And those are my favorite elements of the DC universe.
I think it's so remarkable about your career. You kind of got your break on a commercial. You were in Dora, which obviously is such a big role. And now you're like a part of the DC universe. What could you tell yourself 10 years ago if you could?
Well, 10 years ago, I was 13, 14, and I had just started sort of working on film and television. But before that, this dream wasn't even really conceivable for me. It was I thought that I would be in theater. I started in theater, so I didn't think that I would be in films at all. It just seemed like a really far goal for me. And so this was a pleasant surprise, bigger than any dream I could have imagined. So I definitely am in shock. I don't think I would have believed myself and especially with the short hair, I would have been like, you cut your hair too? That's crazy. Why did you cut your hair? It just goes to show how time can change things and surprise you.
Do you ever think you'd grow your hair back out again?
I mean, it's so convenient having short hair. It's so nice. And if I wanted long hair, I guess I could just pop on a wig.
I read that Shirley Temple and Judy Garland are some of your biggest inspirations. So if they could tell you, what do you think they'd say about your acting career and how you've, spoken about them?
Wow. I hope they'd be flattered. I would want to ask them about their experiences. I think they'd be really surprised, with the opportunities that I've been given. I think they grew up in a different time where things were really challenging and times were hard. And I guess they're hard now too in different ways. But I hope they'd be proud. I think they would tell me to sing more in my projects because I know they were beautiful singers and I love to sing. So I would love to do a musical further down the line to just make them proud.
Have you ever had a real life experience of saving someone or something like Superman?
Yeah, for some reason I'm always saving animals. Whenever humans are in trouble around me, I feel like it's always a group effort, but whenever it's animals, I feel like I don't know, it's just like a more microscopic need of help that I've always found myself in those situations and I know exactly what to do. I mean, back in Cleveland, Ohio, I would always come across animals in the road that were injured and I was like, I'd get out of my car immediately and help them and I knew like where exactly to go and they would see me all the time because I would always bring the animals to that specific nature center.
Well, and the costumes and the makeup, obviously for like the DC universe for a live film, like are just wild and crazy. How long did it take you to get into character? And what was that experience like for you?
I think it was a long process that really only clicked for me when I saw all of us together, like Green Lantern and Mr. Terrific. And I even got to meet Maxwell Lord, who's played by Sean Gunn, who's amazing. And those guys, all of us together, standing together for the camera test was the moment that it really clicked for me. I think by myself, I didn't feel as super, but then, with that, it's a team. It's always been a team. And those are my favorite elements of the DC universe.
Was it hot in there? Were you sweating a lot? Like how long would
Yes.
it take you? How long would it take you to get ready? And like when you finally were able to take it off, was it like a big like moment?
Yeah, I felt very claustrophobic with all of the harness work. It's a very tight, it's like a corset, and then you're also lifted up from it. So it's very tight. I'm like taking deep breaths right now, just thinking about it. That was probably the most challenging thing for me. But at the end of the day, I knew it looked cool. It was really hard to look cool, I will say, because when you got so much going on in there, it's an art to make it look effortless. And that was my first time really experimenting with that and having that. And I think that was it for me. That was the most challenging part.
So do you think now you've got like, when you're invited to the Met Gala or whatever next year, are you going to like corset it up because you're now a corset professional, or are we like done with corsets now?
I've always loved a corset. It's a fun experience. If it's not too tight, if it's custom, maybe I'll go for something more comfortable now, just in anticipation of future work on these projects.
Okay. And you kind of touched on this, that you are like a little bit of a comic nerd. So what makes you one?
Less with the comic books, more with the series. Like the Justice League Unlimited was like my show growing up. I loved Hawkgirl in that. Even though it's a different version of Hawkgirl, it's still like a reincarnation. She's a frequently reincarnated character, and that's what I find really fascinating about her, as well as the Superman animated series growing up as well. I was mostly watching reruns because those shows came out before I was old enough to really get invested. Yeah, that for me was it's nostalgic.
And there's so many big players in this movie. I mean, was there anyone that you met for the first time that made you like a little starstruck, a little giddy? Because
For me, it was Anthony Carrigan. I'm a really big fan of his work. He plays Metamorpho in this, and he did a great job as NoHo Hankenberry. And I've also seen his other projects, but that for me was a standout, and just he's undeniably talented. And I think it was great casting. Apparently, he was the one for them. They didn't even ask anybody. They asked him to come in and be the role. So, props to him. But also James Gunn. Like James Gunn is the reason that I wanted to join this. I was a big fan of his work growing up with the Scooby-Doo live action films. That was like one of the first things I mentioned him was that I loved those films, as well as Guardians of the Galaxy. I just think he's always had such a distinct voice, and that's the most important thing.
did you get to take anything home from set with you to like commemorate this experience overall?
Oh, I always collect stuff from my projects, especially if I had a great time. So I have so much merch that I was gifted to me or that I collected. And that's the thing is, whenever you wrap a film, each department does like their own little wrap gift that they give out to the crew, and it's so sweet. And I have so many little things like a crystal from the Fortress of Solitude of Superman is one of
Wow.
my favorites.
Let's talk about Progressive and the fact that they're trying to be as super and having their own Superman moment with you. So why did you want to partner with them? It kind of made sense, right?
Yeah, it actually makes perfect sense to me. I think it's a good tie-in to like the fact that I love that in this movie, Superman is always there. He's there immediately. But unfortunately, we don't have a flying man on Earth with us right now. And that's the beauty of film is that you can imagine that. So Progressive being quick and smart with it, they were like, we're going to tie in to this and do something really clever and cute, inspired by the Action Comics #1 cover. And as a fan of comic books, I thought it was amazing and I was geeking out. So I thought that was great. And then also making up for the fact that we don't have a Superman on Earth, they have a quick accident response installation that you can have if you go to progressive.com. You can basically, like in a few taps, if you get into an accident, they will be there and help you. So it's like a good substitute for Superman.